didn't exist. You want the world to stand up, and the students finally did. Let's put it.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon. No matter where you are in the world, I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you live from sunny, beautiful New York City, ladies and gentlemen. New York City. Steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, New York. Just kidding. That is what I would be saying if I was on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. I, however, am not on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. Unfortunately, I have disrespected my uncle. I have made my uncle sad. I have done uncle crimes, unacceptable crimes against the unk. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you a little bit about my personal news, about what's going on in the world of Hassan Hasanabi Piker. In between the time period where I press the start streaming button and press the stop streaming button, for all my parasocialists out there. And a lot has happened. I'm in New York, as you guys know. I'm in New York City, baby. City of dreams. New York, the Tel Aviv of America. New York City, the Tehran of America. Last night, I ended the broadcast and I went to dinner with my family. I've been eating very poorly. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Like, I watched Kaiju number 8, episode 5 that just came out. That shit was awesome. Saw the family. That was awesome. The restaurant was called, I believe, like Left Bank, famous for its rotisserie chicken, which I thought was great. But yeah, this morning I woke up. I've been sleeping real late. I am still in LA time, like 100%. I've yet to adjust. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, I went on the Adam Friedland show. I did it. I did the damn thing. It was nowhere near as problematic as I thought it was going to be. Nick Mullen was not there. That was kind of unfortunate in my opinion, but it went by smoothly. I thought it was great. That is literally the reason why I couldn't do Uncle Sammy Sosa Cedar and his pod. When does it air? There's a super quick turnaround in a week and a half, he said. How long was the pod? 30 minutes to an hour? No, we did like an hour and 30, almost 2 hours of the pod, but then they cut it down to like 45 mins. But that was the reason why I couldn't do Uncle Sammy's show today, unfortunately, even though I really wanted to. I'm gonna make it up to him. Are you gonna hit up Pookie? What is this?
SQUEEX, are you gonna hang out with Hassan because he's in New York? I can't because I have work. I literally have work to do. Like, he keeps saying, like, let's hang, let's do this. Like, no, I'm literally working today. Are you crazy? So annoying. Like, hello.
Okay, Ramaswamy, chill.
Work? I am working right now.
Yeah, he's mining. What do you mean? That's real work. What the fuck? Fake friends. How many of us, dude? What's it like being named the most racist man in America by Redditors? I love it. I personally love it. I'm enjoying much of the cracker discourse and the new lengths that Redditors take it to, talking about like made up hate crimes against themselves by people who present themselves as white in this made up hate crime against white people. And in normal circumstances, in normal situations, you get laughed out of the room for saying such a ridiculous thing. Or at least most people be like, okay. And then they would just like talk shit behind your back. Turns out on Reddit, it is the one place where like an Asian man can LARP as a white guy and LARP as a white guy who got like anti-white hate crimed, and then people will turn around and be like, this is really racist. This is the real racism that he doesn't care about. Could you just shoot straight and point out white boys like Asmon and X don't give a fuck when D and their entire friend group drops the N-word? If Asmongold and XQC have had an issue with Destiny saying the N-word as recently as like last week, I haven't seen it. I've never heard them criticize Destiny saying the N-word. Never have I ever heard them speak out against Destiny saying the N-word openly on his fucking podcast once. Not even fucking once. But they got all the smoke for the term cracker. I do find it very strange because I know they don't like that. I know they don't like that word. I know from my personal experience, I know that they don't fuck with that. The discourse on LSF about anti-white racism is popping, okay? There is no better time to be a gamer talking about anti-white racism, you know? At the top of the leaderboards over here. I guess they've like deleted some of them, or here it is. Actually not a fan of racism. Hassan sides with his mod, Frogan over insulting Ludwig. And it's just like so strange because this is like the third day of this cracker discourse. Destiny literally said the N-word like 2 weeks ago, straight up, on camera, on his own podcast, said the N-word. That shit was on LSF for like half a day. No updates for that, I guess.
No, Dan.
Wait, reading off. I already did. There's
Notice
only one
how
that's
Dan
about
isn't
the
talking
threshold,
to
and I
his
already said
microphone
it.
at all. Even though Dan's talking at the same time as me, you can't even hear him because he's talking away from his microphone like a fucking inbred.
They can hear me.
They can't hear you, Dan, because you're not even talking into the microphone.
Okay.
If you do that one more time, I'm going to say the N-word.
Is it actually on your channel or his channel?
It's my channel.
What's up?
What up, nigga?
No!
Wait, the guy said that about me 50 times. I can say that.
I might be mistaken, but I did not hear ASMONGOLD subreddit up in arms over it. I did not hear ASMONGOLD shitting on this behavior, and I'm sure he would be against this kind of thing, for the record. I didn't actually see XQC up in arms about this, like, because they love making these like, oh man, well I stand against racism, guys. I stand against racism, which is why I'm over here telling you unconditionally this cracker discourse has gone too far. I wonder what that's about. Perhaps Reddit is too easily fucking brigaded. And a lot of people, whether they acknowledge it or not, get duped into being willing or unwilling participants in Destiny's PR campaign. Because he was going unhinged bananas mode on Ludwig and Cutie and all of that shit. And then all of a sudden, they released the pressure valve. This is the same exact principle behind canceling someone because they said white genocide is POG. White genocide is a completely made up concept because white genocide is done how? It's done by consensual adults of different racial backgrounds engaging in consensual, loving relationships. White genocide has not happened and will never happen as far as what history has shown us. And that's a good thing, by the way. Like, actual white genocide is in like, oh, you're white? We're putting you in a fucking Holocaust-style concentration camp. Like, that kind of genocide. Oh, you're white? We're going to do the Armenian genocide-style genocide. Oh, you're white? We're going to do, Palestinian-style ethnic cleansing that Israel is doing currently. We're going to trap you in an open-air prison and bomb you. That kind of real genocide happens all the time, and many people don't care about that, and then they turn around and say white genocide is occurring. Why is it occurring? Because of miscegenation. Why is it occurring? Because white people are being bred out. That, in and of itself, is a ridiculous notion, and yet people still try to advance that cause. In a situation like that, calling a white woman a Karen would be just as hateful and just as harmful. We have no disagreement there. Most people would laugh at you if you were to try to champion the anti-Karen cause, to say that Karen is actually a racial slur, which many people that write articles have tried to do. The intent matters more than the word itself would imply that calling someone a redneck would be just as harmful as calling someone the N-word, which is ridiculous. No one would argue on that front. The intent matters more would be akin to saying that a group of gay guys calling someone a fucking breeder would be just as harmful as a group of straight guys calling a gay person the F word. But if you want to understand how laughable this is in the real world, this is Wheat Thins. They are a Nabisco brand. I believe they're owned by Nabisco. Wheat Thins themselves joined in on the cracker discourse. That is how ridiculous this argument was. So much so that a multi-billion-dollar corporation in a marketing initiative could crack jokes about it. Think about how fucking polite these guys have to be professionally. That's why it is unimaginably idiotic. And that happened 2 years ago, 2 whole years ago. And yet there are still newcomers of the conversation trying to champion the cause. Wheat Thins sent me a cracker pass, if you guys remember. They had a marketable moment, like a brand moment. If they were to do that for any real slur, they would understandably get destroyed. And this is a conversation that I've had a million times over. It's a complex conversation, only if you want to make it complex. But I am totally fine with having this conversation over and over again with those who are willing to listen. Except it's much easier to just go, no, fuck you, you're just an anti-white racist. And I think a lot of people, especially white people who are in these circles or who are extremely online, because I do see this like on Reddit more than anywhere else, have the capacity to lean in to the reactionary tendencies. And that is a very fearful prospect, that white identitarians, Nazis and the like, can so quickly weaponize the discourse, talk about like, yeah, white people are the victims, actually. If you are one of those people who's like, yeah, no, white people get, ritualistically humiliated, blah, 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 blah. If you are one of those people who feels that way or finds themselves in the throes of this kind of discourse and leaning on the side of like white people being victims of racism, reverse racism, if you want to call it, look to those who are on your side, look to those who are defending you and what some of the things they're saying. And perhaps then you will understand that you are on the wrong side of this argument, because your side is filled to the fucking brim with dudes who are using this discourse to further radicalize you, oftentimes to much success. This is the reason why, although this is a laughable notion, I routinely find myself defending this issue, even though it's a silly one. These people will simultaneously say you aren't white because you're Turkish, then get mad when you try to explain to them white is a made-up concept made to only include the preferred in-group. I know, which is ironic because they don't personally see this as well. I'm white. Now, if you don't consider me to be white, well, then, you're kind of telling on yourself, while also coming to the recognition that whiteness is a political tool and you are currently applying it. The people that I consider to be in the out group, if I were to draw boundaries, are not done on inalienable characteristics, but instead on issues like their thinking. Reactionary thinking. If I personally didn't believe that people could not shake away some of these opinions, I wouldn't be doing what I do.
If you think that any utterance of the N-word at all is highly problematic and might increase hatred, then like the entire rap industry has to dramatically change the way that they engage with the N-word.
No, it's who uses the N-word. That's what it's not. So it's not just the word. It's it is context dependent.
What is it? I'm curious. What is the feeling that you get that makes you feel bad about it?
It signals to me that you don't give a damn about people who are struggling in ways that you are not struggling. So I actually have to empathize harder because I'm like, maybe this is not a very good person. That's what I feel. Like if you're so carelessly using that word, then maybe you're not actually thinking deeply about the suffering in the world. To be a student of human nature.
That's a great take, by the way, from Lex. Like even Lex, who is normally like a permanent fence sitter, issued a position on this, it seems. It is pretty funny, in my opinion, to see like a almost 40-year-old man with a child try to so desperately be edgy in the same way that many of you were when you were like 14 and cringe back at when you think about how awful you were. It's just like, it's a very sad, very pathetic way to live when you kind of pull yourself out of what you are immediately watching. It's infinitely more cringeworthy than it is like, ooh, scary. He said a scary, edgy word. The problem with the cracker discourse is not that I want everyone to go around and constantly call white people crackers, because it's cringe as fuck, especially if you're a white person. The reason why I have this conversation is specifically to help people understand that the underlying conversation is not about the word cracker at all. It's about, and always will be, about systemic racism, real violence, historical violence, and contemporary violence, because those who champion the discourse that you mustn't ever say cracker, you're being anti-white racist, are trying to basically flatten out racial violence. You flatten out racial violence and you try to, in a way, whether you are a willing participant or unwilling or unaware of what you're doing, you're genuinely engaging in ahistoric, revisionist attitude. The moment that you try to flatten all racism equally in the same way that like racism is dished out systematically against marginalized communities by a powerful in-group, when you try to reverse that reality, all of a sudden you have destroyed thousands of years of colonial violence, chattel slavery, humiliation, subjugation, mass rapes. All of that is gone. This is the reason why this is a point of contention that I just don't simply drop. Many of the people that are saying, why are you covering Destiny again, are actually his fans because they recognize how shitty that looks. But the reason why I talk about it is because like this goes far beyond him. This is like people saying, why are you talking about Andrew Tate when it's not just about Andrew Tate, it's about misogyny in general. It's about systematic forms of bigotry and oppression. When I cover an issue like this and I talk about it within the framework of like an individual content creator, I'm more interested in not the individual content creator himself, but instead what the broader movement looks like. It, of course, is an easy way to tackle an issue because it makes it more entertaining and more interesting, drama in and of itself. I care about the cause and sometimes will use the drama to get people to pay more attention to the cause.